As we were coming here, we broke the law. You should never drive through a red traffic light. You have to stop. Yet we drove through it. When we got to the traffic light, it was still red. And there we saw a man.
Welcome to Faith Surge channel. Kindly like, share, and subscribe. Shalom.
If a son is a son, there is nothing that is of himself that he can do. That's a son. Now we are learning from the greatest now.
John chapter 5 verse 19. Then answered Jesus and said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself.
The Son. So I want you to pay attention to what is happening here between the Father and the Son. This is the most perfect example that you can ever find throughout scriptures. Jesus and his Father, and he's so proud, referencing himself as a son, pointing at himself as a son. There is nothing that you see me do that is of mine. No son has a personal agenda. No son has a desire to discover an independent will. Sonship is all about discovering the will of their Father. What is the mission of the Father? What is his agenda? You stop asking God for your personal purpose, because you don't have a personal purpose. Your personal purpose is the Father's purpose. That's what Jesus is saying. I'm talking about Jesus and his Father. You know, when Jesus said this, let me remind you what he had just done. He had just healed a man at the pool of Bethesda who was there for 38 years, trying to get an opportunity to get into the well, into the pool. The man could not find access into the pool. And along came Jesus, spoke to the man, do you have a desire to be well? And prophetically, Jesus had actually seen that this man was in this condition for 38 years, and yet he's asking him, do you have a remaining desire in you to still walk again the streets of Jerusalem free? Then he says, I have no man to lead me into the pool, push me into the pool. And the man said to him, okay, rise up, take your bed, start walking. And the man began to walk. And as he was walking, he carried his bed on the Sabbath. Which was forbidden. The king of the Sabbath cleared this man. From today, you can lift your bed on a Sabbath and break the Sabbath. Walk and let them see you breaking the Sabbath on the Sabbath. And the people that saw him carrying the bed on Sabbath, what they saw was the breaking of a Sabbath. Yet for 38 years the man could not walk. They did not see that. They saw him breaking the Sabbath.
The Jews therefore said unto him, that
So
was
it's all
before.
right. It's all right. It's all right. So, what Jesus is doing here is intentional. He wants to demonstrate dominion over the day. 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 You break the law, you get arrested. As we were coming here, we broke the law. You should never drive through a red traffic light. You have to stop. Yet we drove through it. In fact, I wasn't the first person. Some people ahead of us, we watched them break the law. And I was wondering, what are they doing? They shouldn't be driving through a red traffic light. But some people behind us kept us pushing also, because now we had no cars in front of us, because the rest of the people are going. When we got to the traffic light, it was still red. And there we saw a man. And to me, he appeared like an officer, a police officer. He's in uniform. Then he cleared us. He's telling everybody, as long as I'm standing here, don't mind the law, don't mind what is written. You can break the law. You know, to a greater extent, this is the reason why God cannot sin. It is who he is. I don't want to get into some unnecessary arguments. This is one of the reasons why he cannot sin, not because he cannot sin. He can do things that you are doing as sin, and to him it's not, because of who he is. I'm talking of an officer. An officer, as long as he's over there at the traffic light, he's telling you, as long as I and you are breaking this law together, you go free. As long as I'm involved, you kill, they arrest you. You have committed a sin. If God kills, it's not a sin. It is who he is. So if it's about who you are that makes it sin, what would you rather deal with? If it is about who you are that makes sin, sin, what would you rather change? It's for another day. Let me leave that one. You see? Sit down. Sit down. Let me show you something. You see, what made Moses not to enter into the promised land, the sin that he committed at some point, it was to do with the way that he dealt with the rock that followed them, which was Christ, which he was supposed to speak to and ask for the water. And he used a stick, a wrong method that still worked, because water came out. But before doing so, he said to the people, shall we today give you water? And he took all the glory. And it was because of that that God is saying, now you shall see the land, but you shall not enter. That was now considered sin. Of all the things that Moses did, this one became a sin that according to God you cannot enter. Yet Moses had done several other things, and he never got punished or even reminded of such things. Simply telling people that, shall we now bring you water out of this rock? And then he used a stick and the water came out. That became his sin. The same Moses had taken a woman from a strange land, which was against what God had said. And God is not saying you shall not enter the promised land based on that woman. No, he is his own classification of sins. There are sins that at his level are considered as sin. Moses had killed a man in Egypt. God did not say that there is blood in your hands, you can't enter the promise. No, look at the type of sin that you commit when you get to a certain stature in the spirit. Your sins are different. Moses had temper, he had anger issues. Yet none of those issues were mentioned except this one. So you must be careful when God raises you up, you get to a certain level where you are told what not to do, and yet the rest of the people are allowed to do so. You do it yourself, it becomes a sin. You may not achieve certain destinies, you may not get to certain places because you have done something that everyone else is allowed to do, but you are not permitted.